Emirates today is one of the largest and most well-connected airlines around, standing out with its impressive all-wide-body fleet of A380s and 777s. To reach this size, it's grown incredibly rapidly, having only been founded in 1985. Let's take a look back at the founding, development and rise of Emirates over the past 35 years. Firstly, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe for weekly aviation videos. Emirates was first launched back in 1985, with carriers like British Airways, KLM and Qantas recently celebrating 100-year anniversaries. This makes Emirates quite a young carrier. It was, however, the first of the major Middle Eastern hub airlines to be established, as Qatar Airways didn't start until 1993 and Etihad in 2003.
In the 1980s, Gulf Air was the main connector in the Middle East. It was the flag carrier for 4 states, Oman, Abu Dhabi, Qatar and Bahrain. But it was flying into Dubai and it was largely feeding passengers to other airlines. And realising this, Gulf Air decided to pull services back from Dubai, leaving the UAE with fewer connections. And it was this that spurred the Dubai royal family to propose a new airline, which of course we know today as Emirates.
Emirates came into existence with funding from the Dubai royal family and Pakistan International Airways, or PIA. The latter also provided Emirates' first aircraft as well as technical expertise and administrative assistance. The new carrier took a mere $10 million in startup capital from the Dubai government and repaid this within a year. The 2 aircraft leased from PIA were a Boeing 737-200 and 1 Airbus A300-200. These were painted in Emirates livery but were operated initially by PIA pilots and crew. They were eventually replaced once Emirates was able to recruit and train its own team. Emirates also operated 2 Boeing 727-200 aircraft on loan from the royal family's Dubai Air Wing. These were upgraded advanced models with increased range and more powerful engines. The 727s would stay with the airline until the mid-1990s, while the sole 737 was returned to PIA in 1987. Emirates' first flight took place on October 25, 1985. This was flight EK600 from Dubai to Karachi and was a fitting first destination, given the strong involvement of PIA. Beyond Karachi, other first routes were regional, including Mumbai, Delhi, Colombo, Amman, Dhaka and Cairo. As head of airline planning in the early years, much of the regional and later international route development was at the hands of a young Tim Clark. Even as Emirates has grown today to cover the globe, this strong regional base in the Middle East and Indian subcontinent remains key for the carrier. Right from the start, Emirates experienced success. Helped by strong advertising in the region, the airline carried 260,000 passengers in its first year. What's more impressive is that it turned a profit. In the same year, its main rival Gulf Air saw profits fall by over 30%. In July 1987, Emirates officially purchased its first 2 aircraft, 2 Airbus A310s. The airline would eventually take on a total of 13 A310s and 7 A300s and use them to expand services. Flights to Europe began that same year, with London and Frankfurt as initial destinations. Istanbul and Malé were also added later in the year. Route expansion continued in the 90s. Flights to East and Southeast Asia began in 1990, with Manila and Singapore as the first destinations. In the following years, Hong Kong, Paris, Rome and Zurich would also be added. With the expansion came new aircraft. Emirates ordered 7 Boeing 777-200s in 1992.
The 777 added vast amounts of capacity to the airline's operations. It was a modern, comfortable, fuel-efficient jet, and it could fly for miles. So, really it allowed Emirates to launch huge routes into places like Australia and the United States. And it is today the biggest operator of the 777 and looking forward to its 777X, of course.
Emirates also partnered with US Airways from 1993 allowing the offer of more destinations and round-the-world flights. Emirates marketed itself as a premium airline and still does to this day. It focused on luxury offerings in premium classes and was one of the first airlines to install entertainment systems at every seat. The same marketing focus continued in later years with "Be good to yourself, fly Emirates" as the new slogan in the late 90s. The late 90s would also see the launch of Emirates Sky Cargo in 1998. This initially operated aircraft under lease from Atlas Air, but allowed Emirates to build up dedicated freight schedules and routes. The first of the airline's 777 orders in 1992 arrived 4 years later in 1996. Emirates quickly launched a 777 service to Australia with a stop in Singapore. This would go on to become one of the airline's most successful routes. Emirates also added more Airbus aircraft, taking 29 A330-200s starting in 1999. These would remain in the fleet until 2016. In May 1998, Emirates bought a 40% stake for $70 million in Air Lanka. As part of the investment, Emirates managed the airline for the next 10 years, taking control of ground handling and catering operations at Colombo and redefining the airline's image and strategy. The name was changed to Sri Lankan Airlines soon after Emirates' involvement began, and its fleet and route network expanded. When the management contract ended in 2008, Emirates pulled out, selling its expanded stake of 43.6% back to the Sri Lankan government. By the turn of the century, Emirates had a fleet of 30 aircraft and operated to 28 destinations. By the end of the 2000s, it would add another 46 destinations to this. To meet expansion plans, Emirates placed further aircraft orders with both Boeing and Airbus. The huge orders placed in 2003 and 2005 showed just how quickly it recovered from the aviation industry's decline in 2001. With Boeing, it significantly expanded its fleet of 777s. From 2004 to 2011, it placed 6 separate orders for 777s. Collectively, the airline would sign for over 120 777s, the majority of them being the -300ER variant. With Airbus, Emirates ordered both the A340 and the A380. From 2000 through to 2013, Emirates would place 6 separate orders for over 120 Super Jumbos. For the A340, Emirates would buy 20, ordering 2 -500 variants and 18 longer -600s. It would later cancel some of these. If you're liking this video so far, why not click subscribe and hit the like button? Oh, and be sure to click that notification bell too. The first of the A380s was delivered in 2008, and as the fleet grew, so did the airline's list of destinations and frequencies. The 2000s and early 2010s saw much more expansion, particularly with routes to Asia, Australasia, and the United States. Emirates now began challenging other airlines on lucrative Asia to North America routes, offering one-stop services via Dubai.
Emirates Dubai hub puts it in a unique position. You know, some people do want to go to Dubai, sure, but that market's always going to be quite limited. But being midway between the East and the West really allowed Emirates to shuttle people right across the globe, connecting in Dubai. And the A380 allowed it to pack planes full of passengers going from major airports to its Dubai hub in order to connect onto their final destination. So, you know, really the A380 gave it hub and spoke on steroids, and it worked very well for the airline.
In a period of increasing airline alliance participation, Emirates decided to stay independent and not join an alliance. It would instead focus on its own connections and building its global network. The airline launched its own frequent flyer program, Skywards, in 2000. Building a network of partner airlines, Emirates frequent travelers can collect and use reward miles and share limited tier benefits with other carriers. Emirates has continued its growth in the last decade, taking delivery of more A380 aircraft. As of 2020, it operates a fleet of 115 A380s and 151 777s. It has also continued its focus on high-quality service and corporate appeal with its impressive premium cabins. In 2016, it won the Skytrax Airline of the Year award for the first time. The airline has introduced some of the best first-class products in the air as well. In 2017, it was the first airline to install a fully enclosed suite in first class. This features just 6 private suites, so far only on some 777 aircraft. Other 777s and the A380 offer semi-enclosed private suites, while the A380 features a large bar, lounge, and even showers. Looking forward, Emirates is about to launch a new premium economy product. A latecomer to the idea, it'll be the first major Middle Eastern airline to include this level of service. Also, in the coming years, the airline will operate a more diverse fleet, as it will eventually take delivery of some new generation long-range twin jets. The first major new order was for the Boeing 777X in 2013. Its order for 150 aircraft was the largest ever order for new aircraft, valued at $76 billion, or $83 billion in 2020. It initially ordered 35 Boeing 777-8 and 115 Boeing 777-9 aircraft, but changed this in 2019, swapping 24 777X aircraft for 30 787-9 Dreamliners. It's thought this was due at least in part to the delays with 777X development. Going further with fleet diversification, Emirates also reached a decision to acquire 50 A350-900 aircraft at the Dubai Air Show in 2019. Emirates cancelled some A380 orders in 2019. These cancellations actually led to a subsequent announcement from Airbus that it would completely end production of the A380.
So Emirates was really the only airline to ever fully embrace the potential of the A380. Of the 251 ever ordered, half went to Emirates, and without their support, the programme would have been a complete failure. But the world was changing, point to point was growing, fuel prices were going up. Emirates no longer needed so many super jumbos. So it was last year that they reached an agreement with Airbus to cancel 39 of their outstanding order, and it ordered up a huge number of A350s instead. So it was Valentine's Day last year, with no substantial backlog of A380s to build. Airbus pulled the plug on the programme.
The events of 2020 have hit all airlines hard, and Emirates is no exception. Despite some talk of cancelling more A380 orders, it seems that the carrier will stick with them. In fact, with other airlines retiring them, Sir Tim Clark has commented that they could be even more popular. Indeed, they would become a rare mode of transportation which some might go out of their way to fly. Tim Clark explained the challenges his airline faces in the near future, particularly around the future fleet. We are nowhere near confident enough that the economics, the cash flows, the bottom line will put us in a good position to be able to guess if we'll buy 100 of this or 100 of that. Whatever direction Emirates goes in the future, it has earned a reputation of being a strong competitor in the market of premium long-haul air travel. Few airlines can match its level of in-flight service and its reach around the world. It's likely that the airline will continue this legacy into the future, with newer and more efficient jets on the horizon.
Emirates truly opened up the world. It pioneered hub and spoke operations, it led the way on ultra long haul flying, but more than that, it increased passenger expectations. It really raised the bar for other airlines in terms of service and comfort on board. It disrupted the long haul market, and it challenged those stagnant flag carrier airlines to really up their game. And of course, it did it all without ever joining an alliance.
Have you had the opportunity to fly with Emirates over its 35-year history? Share your experience with us by leaving a comment. Did you know that we publish over 175 stories every single week on simpleflying.com? Be sure to check the link in the description for more great stories just like this. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe before you go.